Welcome back to Station for Learning. Let me ask you something as literature students. Is the meaning of a text fixed, or does it change with every reader who engages with it? Today we'll explore this powerful idea through reader-oriented criticism, also known as reader response theory, a perspective that places you, the reader, at the very heart of literary interpretation. Reader-oriented criticism challenges traditional approaches like formalism and authorial criticism. Instead of asking, what did the author intend, or what does the text objectively say, this theory asks, what happens when a reader interacts with a text? It views reading as an active process where meaning is not discovered but created. This means a literary text is incomplete without a reader. Meaning emerges through the reader's engagement. Every interpretation reflects the reader's context, emotions, and experiences. Reader-oriented critics focus on the reading process itself. They examine how readers respond emotionally, such as with joy, fear, or confusion, how expectations shape interpretation, how cultural, social, and historical backgrounds influence understanding. For example, a Pakistani student reading a colonial text may interpret themes of power and resistance differently from a Western reader. So the same text produces multiple valid meanings, depending on the reader. This approach transforms literature from a static object into a dynamic interaction. Reader-oriented criticism gained prominence in the mid to late 20th century, especially as a reaction against rigid text-centered theories. Let's look at some key contributors. Louise Rosenblatt introduced the idea of transactional theory. Reading is a transaction between reader and text. Distinguished between efferent reading, focus on information, and aesthetic reading, focus on experience and emotions. Wolfgang Iser emphasized the role of the implied reader, argued that texts contain gaps or blanks. Readers actively fill these gaps, shaping meaning. Stanley Fish proposed the concept of interpretive communities. Meaning is not purely individual, but shaped by shared social and cultural norms. Together, these theorists shifted literary studies toward a more reader-centered and interpretive approach. When applying reader-oriented criticism, literature students can follow these steps. Step 1, initial reading response. Record your immediate reactions. Ask, what did I feel? What confused me? What stood out? This step values your personal engagement with the text. Step 2, horizon of expectations. Consider your prior knowledge, beliefs, and cultural background. Ask, how do my expectations influence my reading? Every reader brings a unique lens to the text. Step 3, identifying gaps and indeterminacy. Look for ambiguities, silences, or missing details. Ask what is left unsaid. How do I fill these gaps? This reflects Wolfgang Iser's theory. Step 4, meaning construction. Develop your interpretation based on your interaction with the text. Support your ideas with textual evidence. Meaning is constructed, not extracted. Step 5, comparing interpretations. Engage with other readers' perspectives. Ask, why do others interpret differently? This aligns with Stanley Fish's idea of interpretive communities. Step 6, reflection and re-evaluation. Reflect on how your interpretation evolves. Ask, has my understanding changed after discussion? Reading is a continuous evolving process. While influential, this approach has faced strong criticism. Extreme subjectivity. Critics argue it allows overly personal interpretations that may ignore textual evidence. If every reading is valid, can we still distinguish between strong and weak interpretations? Neglect of authorial intent. Traditional critics believe the author's purpose and historical context are essential. Ignoring the author may lead to misinterpretation. Problem of relativism. If meaning depends entirely on the reader, is there any objective meaning? Can interpretation become limitless? lack of analytical discipline. Some argue that it reduces literary criticism to personal opinion rather than structured analysis. Classroom challenges. For teachers, it may be difficult to evaluate students' responses. Maintain academic rigour. Despite these critiques, reader-oriented criticism remains highly valuable. Encourages independent and critical thinking. Develops interpretive and analytical skills, promotes active engagement with texts, allows inclusion of diverse cultural perspectives, moves beyond rote learning,